Welcome to the surprise episode 600. Here we are with we're going to be loud, we're going to be proud. No, we're not going to be proud. Proud is not a good thing to be. We're going to be loud, we're going to be all on. We've got lots of stingers planned for you.
We're boys and we're proud.
We've got nothing planned. I just came out very strong. And
well,
I think you can see from the reaction.
I can't be that loud. I'm in a hotel. People get mad at me.
And don't be that proud either, Matt. Just don't.
No.
Just be confident.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. There's some things that you're allowed to be proud of, and there's other things that it's.
I don't. The
Not
word
really.
proud just seems to be.
upon.
Proud just the word just seems to be tarnished these days.
By boys.
Yes.
I mean, it always has been tarnished by boys, hasn't it? If someone's going to tarnish that word,
Yeah,
it's boys.
boys tarnish a lot of stuff, proud or
Yeah.
otherwise. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jane Austen knew it when she wrote Pride and Prejudice, which I assume was about proud boys.
Proud boys and prejudice.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
Well, maybe you can help me actually, Luke. If you don't have anything for an open, I'd like to.
No.
I'd like to open with a new segment that I like to call "Dan Gets Real-Time Tech Support Live on Air." Right.
Oh,
So maybe you
Okay.
can help me with something. I use
right.
the Apple AirPods, right? So automatically,
Yeah.
Luke's like, I'm fucking out. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm down.
Lately, they just keep stopping. They just stop. They stop. Right.
yeah,
How
right.
old are they?
Okay. So here's the thing. They're not that old,
Okay.
but I have a spare pair.
Okay.
So I just switched and I linked those instead. And they started stopping. And so I thought,
Huh.
must be my phone doing something. Except
You got a
when I
spare
was
phone?
watching a movie last night on my MacBook, it was stopping on there too. What is going on? Something in my house is interrupting the Bluetooth signal.
Now, I do
When
have
you,
a question.
when you say stopping, no, go.
Just,
I was just
just
going to ask, is it only you having this problem?
seems to be. But I'm the only one who wears Bluetooth headphones, so it's
Okay.
not unusual.
Yep.
When you say they stop, do you mean they disconnect? Because when they disconnect, they make a noise. They go boom, boom. They do that.
Sometimes it does that sound, and sometimes it just stops, and I don't notice that sound. But yeah,
Could
disconnect.
it
I
be?
guess.
I've had.
I'm going to
'cause I've
suggest
got-
one thing. Go on. No, you go first. You
my
were talking
suggestion was
first.
just be careful because I do have sets as well, and sometimes the set I'm wearing will disconnect to connect to the pair I'm not wearing. I've had that happen.
Yeah. So AirPods have this feature where they will automatically switch to whatever it thinks you're looking at. I don't know if
Right.
you've. It's a good feature most of the time, but maybe that's fucking up. Where
Yeah,
you're.
it thinks so it's actually when I'm trying to listen to a podcast, it thinks I want my computer on.
Yeah, so you can turn that off, but you've got to do it on every device, unfortunately. So you've got to go into the settings and say, automatically connect to this. I forget what it's called. Automatically connect to this when you think I'm using it. Just turn that off and make it manual. That's what I do because I found it would just. I'd be listening to something and I go, oh, you do something on the computer, and then I go, oh, computer, huh? I'm like, no, I'm fucking in the middle of something.
Yeah. That would happen in the reverse more often, I would think, too. And you're like on your computer, I'll just get something on my phone. It's like, oh, we're doing phone stuff now.
I can
Yeah,
see it being
exactly.
a good feature, but I can also see it being very annoying. Like it's a
It
feature.
works most of the time.
Yeah.
But
It's one of those
the
things
times
that-
it doesn't work, it's like fucking paper cuts.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Tech designers around a table going, you know what would be great is if your headphones just always knew what you were doing and just switched accordingly. Yeah, great. Write that down, and someone will have to make that happen.
I reckon it's going to get better though. I reckon it will get
Sure,
better.
it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically, I turned it off because, and I don't know why, when I would mow the lawn and I'd be listening to a podcast or an audiobook or something, when I would get near my office, it would connect to my laptop.
Oh.
And then
Funny.
it's
And if
so
you're trying,
like,
you're
why?
trying to listen to music or whatever you'd listen to while mowing the lawn, and then it'll go, no, office work time.
I'm now connected to your laptop. Yeah.
Yep.
So I just turned that feature off.
Yeah. And then you heard the Zoom call that you were meant to be in while you were out on the lawn.
That's right. Yeah, I don't need my boss to hear the lawnmower.
I go for a walk anytime I've got a Zoom call that I don't have to participate in. I just put the leash on Charlie and I'm like, we're going. I can listen along. No one's going to ask any questions.
I brought a lot of
You
fidget
don't,
toys from my desk.
You got a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
what?
yeah. You're an
Fidget
office
toys.
boy.
Yes. No, just
You're a
fidget
proud
toys.
office boy.
Proud office boy.
An office of proud boys.
I'm going to apologize now for my audio, which is I can't hear it, but it's probably not that great. And also, there's probably delay because I'm on hotel Wi-Fi. So listeners,
It's not as
watchers,
bad as you might think,
witnesses.
actually.
Okay, if I'm talking over somebody, I apologize.
And
I've
I
done
just
that to
normally,
Luke several times.
and I just
Like that.
talk over
Ironically,
people. Yeah.
you did it while you were explaining it.
We'll get better at this one day. It's only 600
Yeah.
episodes. We still haven't learned how to handle that, but one day.
Maybe hand signals. Just raise your hand if you want to speak.
Does that mean you're slightly in the past or slightly in the future of us right now?
I'm,
Still in the
I'm in the
past.
past.
In sync, okay? 1, 2. No one's counting with me. 4. No, forget it.
I was waiting
No.
until you got to 3, and then I thought we were all going to go surprise or something.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I remember when
We
we
didn't
tried to
plan
sing
that.
Happy Birthday once. And that was the most
mean-
painful thing we've ever done.
Happy Birthday's a painful song anyway. Has anyone worked out what you meant to do while people are singing it at you?
You're meant to feel awkward
whole
because you don't
history.
really want it to happen.
Yeah.
Matt, you mentioned you were on holiday. I know where you are, obviously. The listeners don't, but I would like you to tell us, like we don't know, but then tell us about the thing that we know you're at.
Yes.
Okay. I'm in New Jersey at the moment. I'm in Asbury Park, actually. And I'm going to VCF East, Vintage Computer Federation East. And we've
Is
had...
it a federation? That sounds very
Yes.
organized, doesn't it?
And
I
this
think
is
I
your
usually say
A
fair because
federated.
fair
I
sound.
usually-
That's what I
Vintage
think
computer-
it is.
Well, that explains what I'm doing better, I think, than Vintage Computer Federation. Like, because it's like a... It's basically, I did it last year, listeners may remember. Sorry, witnesses may remember.
Witnesses.
It's retro computer stuff. So there's a big
All the
consignment
nerds.
room. You can sell all your old stuff. That opens today. It wasn't open yesterday. Today is Saturday, for the record. And talks by some, I think, interesting people. Fucking nerdy stuff, though. So, like, very technical schematics up on the fucking projector. Like, you got to be interested to. It's not like
I
PAX,
went
where it's
to
like,
yeah. I joined an online vintage computer group at one stage and left because I was like, oh, this is way
Technical.
out nerding me. Yeah, yeah. Like you listen to talks on people of like who invented ways to do fucking HDMI output conversion so that and I'm like
Yeah.
no, okay. Oh, that's
The
I
first
want
talk I went
that.
to yesterday.
How it works, I don't need to know.
The first talk I went to yesterday was about the sound, Commodore sound, like various types of sound on Commodore computers. The first one being the PET, and then it was literally schematics. Like, so this pin out controls, the beeping sound. If you wanted it to be able to do music, you have to hook up this card on the back, and these pins went here and this and that. And, like, I think it's interesting, but I can completely understand why someone might not think that's
very
interesting.
niche. Yeah, yeah.
I
Pet.
find it very amazing what they've done with it, but going to that level
Yeah.
of detail, I'm out. But I still
Well,
find it
especially those
fascinating.
early computers, just specifically talking about audio, that don't have like sound cards. They don't have even speakers at some point. It's just like components making noises that they manage to trick
Yeah.
into being
the,
a soundtrack for a game.
The theme of this year is the sound of retro. So it's all most talks are kind of geared around that. And there was a guy yesterday he's a game developer. He worked on Nintendo Entertainment System, Game Boy, Atari games. It's really interesting talk. Just
Been
hearing
around since
about
the start.
exactly, and then he had like photos of what it was like, and it's literally like if you were a kid like us in that during that period, what you thought making video games was like. He was at home with a fucking Atari ST, hooked up to this Nintendo dev kit that they've sent him, and he's contracted by these companies to just make video games. He was living the dream,
Yep.
right? And fascinating talk. And he showed like these die shots of the CPUs for one was for an Atari and one's for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And he pointed out really interestingly, same CPU, like the internals, but the Nintendo has all this extra stuff around it. Like it's like I guess, 4 times the size. And he said that's all audio
Huh.
Oh wow.
because the Ataris had really bad
Yeah.
like audio.
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah.
and then one of the things that he said he thinks contributed a lot to the Nintendo Entertainment System is that you just had this good music. It could play all the time. It wasn't like a afterthought. It had dedicated hardware for it. And I said, oh, it's fucking interesting.
Never even thought of that before, and that's really interesting. But even I remember like big games, like the main Atari, like the big games, they were only done by 1 or 2 people. It wasn't like you had a team working on them. I remember because you hear the story of E.T., which is what they say sort of killed.
He
But
mentioned
the guy
E.T.,
just
yeah.
came off making
He got laid
something-
off around the time that happened, incidentally, like a lot of people.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just a
Suddenly they
guy
didn't have a
who's-
lot of money.
A guy
Yeah.
came on, he just finished making something. They got, hey, we need you to make ET, and you've got like 2 or 3 weeks. Away you go, type of thing. And it was just one guy who had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, one of my favorite games,
almost destroyed the
Flashback.
game industry.
Yes.
Yeah. Flashback, you guys are aware of Flashback, right? From
course.
Delphine. So Delphine
favourite game.
had... Yes, certainly one of my favorites. But Delphine had this licensed property for The Godfather, right?
Oh yeah,
And they were going to make the Godfather game. And somewhere along the way, just the fucking nerds at Delphine were like, what about we do Godfather, but like fucking in the future and shit? And they were like, yeah. And they just fucking ran with it. And then when the guys from the studio, from like Paramount, came in, they were like, here, what is what it is? And they were like, this looks nothing like
What?
the Godfather. Took it away, gave it to Ocean or US Gold or one of those,
yeah, with the big companies.
company, do whatever you want. And they were like, should we just rename
Release
this
this
then
anyway?
and release it? And that was the game.
Well, that's what it makes me
He
start
said-
to see. Like, I was reading, I've seen some interviews lately, like people from Bethesda and stuff, and they're going like the reason why, like Starfield didn't do that well is they don't have that freedom that they once did. That was very big at Bethesda. Like a lot of the cities and stuff that were built were just people doing a side project because they loved it. Now
Right.
it really is much more of a business crunch, get it out. People aren't going off and spending extra time because all they're doing is working on doing their part to get the
Their
game
bit.
out. They're not getting that enjoyment part out of it, which is sad.
If you're wondering if that crunch was a thing back then, yeah, he said that when it got to close to, he said, deliver a game, games had to be delivered ready for Christmas, which meant you had to finish them ideally in July.
Right.
And when it would get to that deadline, he said you would work from, in their case, like noon to like 3 a.m. And everybody did it. And people think, oh, everybody contributed. The artists were doing programming at that point. Everybody was just fucking, we got to get this fucking thing done.
I also think it would have been harder back then because there's no
Sure.
second chance like you have now. Now,
Oh, yeah,
the
you
day
can't
one
patch
patches,
it.
whatever went out. And that's why sometimes you
gotta
see
work.
a game where there's like placeholder images or something in there. Where it's just, we'll come back to this, and they never do. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just this is a rat hole, but when you said that everyone was doing the crunch, it just reminded me of a story I heard this week. I think it was on another podcast, but I can't remember which one. But it was about when Kennedy visited the Space Center. I guess the one that's now called Kennedy Space Center, right? But wouldn't have been then. And was just meeting everyone and shaking their hands. And he met the janitor, but he didn't know he was the janitor. Just there was a man standing there, and he put out his hand to shake his hand and said, "What do you do here?" And the janitor said, "Well, trying to put a man on the moon." You know, and it's just like everyone who worked there felt like that's what their job was, no matter what part of it you were doing.
He just didn't want to say.
Yeah, that's right.
well, I just cleaned. There was a clog in the
Astronaut.
toilet, and
or more likely, no one said that, and that was just a great story that someone made up somewhere.
It is a good story.
Yeah,
But no, I think the crunch back then, may have been different to what it is now. I think crunch
less
Probably.
exploitative.
Well, crunch, I don't know. Yeah, would have been, I think, fun back then. I know it may not have been, but it just sounds like everyone was there together working on this, like, to try and get the goal.
I've done overnight
get it
edits and
out.
stuff, like the night before something goes to broadcast, and it's grueling, but it's really fun. Like you remember
it can
those
be.
nights with great stories and stuff, but it's not, 3 months worth of an employer just expecting you to be at work 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the crunch we've got now is anywhere near the same as what we do have. Although,
But Matt, I do want to
pays
know:
better.
have you bought anything yet?
No, I bought the T-shirt for this year. That's about it so far. So a lot of the vendors and stuff don't open until today. So Friday's
Okay.
kind of like more limited stuff. There's like the talks are on, but a lot of the stuff's not ready yet.
It's Super
So
Nerd Day.
correct. Today
Yeah.
is. Oh, you mean Friday? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun and games from now, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally,
So I'll head over
literally
after
games.
this. Um,
That guy
One thing he
that had,
mentioned,
yeah.
he's ported a bunch of games, including there's an arcade game called Crossbow and some other stuff. And Frogger, he did Frogger for the Sega Genesis, right? And he was saying every time he was
Frogger
telling
was on
stories
the
about them.
Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the last Genesis game, apparently.
Wow,
I played
And
it.
he was saying for the Crossbow, he and his I guess
Crossbow.
co-workers had to take a video camera and film the arcade game and then make the game from
Yeah.
it. And then for Frogger, he said they were given the like the ROM of
Yeah.
Frogger,
Yeah,
and the Genesis version of Frogger actually has the arcade ROM in it, and he just references the art that's in the ROM and that kind of stuff. And then afterwards, somebody said, "Any questions?" Someone said, "Yeah, when you were asked to port a game, did they ever actually give you the code
Assets.
or
Yeah,
design documents or any of that kind of stuff?" And he was like, "Literally, never,
yeah.
never.
They just
They
gave me the
just-
game.
You know that game? Make it for us." And
Yeah.
it's always
Yeah, and they had to
weird, right?
play it and get good at it enough to
Yes.
see what level came next
That's what
to
he said.
make that.
Yeah, they had to film the arcade machine, and they said they basically just hours and hours and hours until he said you had to make sure you've seen everything that the game can do, and then you got to replicate it.
Incredible.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, you really think, like, because we've got this game, we already have all the information, and we want you to make a copy of it. Why don't we give you the information?
Never worked that
You
way.
would think that they would have it, yeah.
But even not just ports, like ports, you would think that makes perfect sense with. But what used to blow my mind were when completely different developers were making a Jurassic Park game for Genesis,
Oh, yeah, at the same
Nintendo, DOS, Amiga.
Alien 3 is
Like-
an example.
Alien 3, yeah. And actually, Alien 3 is a funny one because I prefer the gameplay on the Mega Drive, but I prefer the look of the Super Nintendo one.
Yep.
So,
If they could just put them together, you'd have a perfect
just,
game.
just just work it out what the best game.
Make the
Jurassic
same
Park
game,
as
guys.
well. Jurassic Park on Nintendo was completely different to Jurassic Park on Sega.
But yeah, it's sort of it's making sense
Good,
in my head
but-
now, though, because back then there were the console wars, so you weren't
Yeah.
going to share between.
Oh yeah, nothing
and
was shared,
'cause-
was it? Yeah.
if you make a game for one, it's not going to work on the other one.
No.
Like, whereas now that's
No,
less
no.
of an issue.
But art assets, you could have one creative
yeah.
director designing art assets. You know, you can have one level designer.
Yes.
You'd still have to have two
Yeah.
different programming teams, but
Yeah, different dev kits and everything. Yeah.
What a time.
So, yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Doing more today and tomorrow. I will report back with some more next week, I guess.
And
yeah,
show us what you've
I want to
purchased.
know what you buy. I know you're going to buy something.
I'll buy something. I can't buy too much.
You're going to try not to buy too much. Yeah.
The consignment area is like twice the size this year. I've seen where it is. I just haven't seen what's in there. But
Or you will.
it's going to be dangerous.
You mentioned the Commodore PET before, and that is my favorite computer from a design point of view, right? I just love the design of it. There's been no computer before or since that was so aesthetically pleasing to my eyes than the Commodore PET. And I'm pretty sure that when they were making Severance and they were designing those retro future computers, that they had a PET as a reference, right? Because it's that kind of strange UFO
Speaking
shape,
of
right?
Severance, yes. 20 minutes north of me
Yeah.
is the office building.
Oh, the building. Oh,
So I will be
wow.
going there today
Yes, great.
to take some photos.
Would they let you in the lift? Go in the lift. Go up there.
Assuming I won't be allowed to go inside at all.
Yeah,
But
I want to see the goats.
the exterior, like the building that they
yeah, very cool looking building. So I learned a fact about Severance that I think is funny and interesting and good. But no one would ever notice this, but I just like that they pay this level of detail. Did you know that the things shot in the Severance building are shot on digital video and the things shot in the real world are shot on film?
Oh,
So that
interesting.
one has a more realistic character, and one has a very stark character. Except in the last episode, where Heliar and Marquez are running through the corridors for their own freedom, that is shot on film because for them that is their real world.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I noticed the one, I think you said it was directed by the cinematographer.
Yes.
The one that had a lot of
incredibly,
like different mediums. I noticed it a lot there.
Yes. Yeah, they really lent into it, didn't they? Especially the flashbacks with him and the wife looked like they were shot on 8mm or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, more noticeable than
beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Severance. But I've been thinking that. Do you remember ages ago? What's Perry Fractic's wife's name? Lady Fractic. Lady Fractic.
I mean, that's not her name, but that's what we know her as.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know her. I literally don't know her real name. I don't think. I know his. I know his real name. I know his real name. But I
don't recall hers.
She may not have ever. She may not want us to know. I'm sure she doesn't want us to know.
I mean, she's an actress.
Yeah, I'm sure we could find out.
Not in a weird way, but you could find out if you really wanted to, I'm sure.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. All right, I mean,
it's also a thing you could find out.
Where she lives.
I know, sorry. We've made this weird for some reason.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be.
It's really not.
Anyway, all I was going to say was there was an episode where she and Joseph...
I'm going to text her. Oh, that's a joke from off air. Never mind.
Yeah. No, better as a non sequitur. There's an episode where they make this... they 3D print this retro housing for a Raspberry Pi and put an LCD screen in it and put Retro Pi on it.
Yeah, I've seen that one, I think, yeah.
And I watched it at the time and went, oh, cool, that'd be fun to make. And this whole season of Severance, I've been like, I fucking want a retro computer in my house. But I don't necessarily just want like an Atari ST or something that it's like, okay, this is my thing and I can now only... I've got to be obsessed with this one particular machine.
I've got a dedicated desk to this thing.
But if I had something like that and just I could just play all my retro games on it. I don't have a 3D printer, but I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could get someone to print it for me. Anyway,
it's companies that would do it for you. I don't know how expensive it is.
Yeah, I suspect probably quite expensive.
You could probably get one 3D printed with some tits on it. Yeah. See, as we discovered last week in the after party.
True, very true. You can definitely get from Etsy 3D printed housing just for the Retro Pis, just for the Raspberry Pis, but they're the size of a circuit board, right? But that's not what I want. I want something with a screen. We'll see.
Well, speaking of games, some big news this week. Switch 2's here, baby. June, Switch 2. Luke's unimpressed.
It's a lovely looking piece of machinery.
Oh, it looks so good.
10 times more powerful than the existing Switch.
I do have to ask, how's that compared to an Xbox or
like an actual console?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't really
I know they are
do
still,
that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
they are still,
I think...
They're doing their own thing.
Yeah, numbers-wise.
It almost doesn't matter, though, because the cloud games, like the Skyrim, the Resident Evils that I was playing, I can't remember what else I was playing that was cloud streamed.
I think Skyrim runs on the device, doesn't it?
Actually, Skyrim does run on the device, and it looks fucking incredible. It looks way better than it should be. Then again, it's a 15-year-old game. But the Resident Evil 7 and 8 that I played on it, fucking just look as good.
Look, the thing that it was with the Switch, I'm not really going for like graphics that I want on something else. That's not the type of games that you want.
Maybe you can now. Like that was didn't because that was the limitation before.
Honestly, though, even with the consoles we got to, remember, even when the Series X was coming out, I wasn't really concerned about graphics by that stage. I'm looking forward to faster loading times.
True.
Yeah,
frame rate. I know we've talked about this. I like higher frame rate. This does up to 120 frames a second on the device. Like that's higher than I can get with my Xbox on the TV. So
it's only going to be 700 here.
I didn't think I cared about frame rate until Starfield was like, oh, fuck it, 24. And it was like, it's not enough. It's not enough.
I think they patched that, but I don't know. I haven't gone back to it, so
neither.
I haven't seen it.
And in fact, I'll take a quick segue, but I do want. There's lots more Switch news, but I'll just quickly say I've quit another game, guys. So Avowed, I was into it for a week, and then I was
day.
like, I'm not into it. But I played quite a bit of Luke, help me out. What are we playing? Yeah, it's boring. I don't like
You
it.
can finish that game
Very
in 6
boring.
hours.
I've probably played
know that 'cause
4
I've done
hours
it.
of it, but I'm not going to play it for another 2 hours.
It's time to give up.
The problem with that game is, and I'm upset about it, is because they've made so many different endings and so many different storylines, you can't just go out and explore and experience a lot because...
I don't know what the story is.
And it's because there's too many stories. And
everyone's got a little story, but it's not the what's the game story? England is the story.
You're just trying to escape.
Governor. Yeah.
But yeah,
and I
think
like
that's
that
where
you can avoid combat, except that it makes it boring because I'm like, well, I should have to fight some people occasionally.
As I said, I turned the difficulty down on that so quickly, and because of just like even when you're exploring and trying to find things, not everything. It's not like another game where you can search everything. It's only certain things you can search, and the stuff you were finding, you weren't finding a lot of it at the normal setting. So. And bullets were very hard to come by, and
and I don't know if you can get better guns down the track, but all the guns I had, the shotgun, the rifle, and the handgun, all was single shot and then reload. So, like, if something attacked you, like, if you didn't kill them with one shot, you were dead because
you can get better as long as you're fighting humans. They're all headshot, one shot, they're dead. The second you get to a monster. You're panicking and you're just firing all of your bullets and then you die.
Yeah,
because that was
speaking
terrifying.
of which, so I was desperate to find something new, and I was like, okay, well, I did download and install Stalker 2 a couple of weeks ago. I didn't really give that a good enough go. So I played that for a good hour or two last night. It's very good, but fuck, it's difficult. I went back to the menu thinking I probably had it on normal and was going to pop it down to easy, and discovered it was already on easy. It's just very challenging. It's dark. It's fucking dark.
That game is not going to hold your hand at all.
And there seems to be fucking monsters that you can't even see that'll just come up behind you and kill you without you even knowing they were there. Like, it's very unfair. I'm going to play more, but I died like 4 or 5 times in the same spot last night. I was like, fuck you, game.
Before we do get to Switch, though, I can say I started playing a new game today, South of Midnight.
Oh, that's the Louisiana one?
Yes. So it comes out the Game Pass this week. I spent the $15 to get the premium upgrade so I can play it now. I'm actually quite enjoying it. It's not a difficult game. Like the puzzles are quite simple.
The girl and the big fish, right?
Yes.
Big catfish.
The combat's sort of quite simple, and the story's just nice and interesting. And so I definitely recommend
this looks pretty good.
Yeah, it comes out the Game Pass on the 9th.
Okay.
So you started playing this already?
Yes.
How does it stack up to Assassin's Creed? Because the other thing that I'm interested in playing is that, which I'll obviously have to purchase.
Yes, well, Assassin's Creed I actually also finished this week.
Okay.
Right.
They are very different games. You can't really compare them.
Fair enough.
South of Midnight, I think, there's a story that you're enjoying throughout the entire game. Like there's stuff you're finding, there's talking happening, there's stuff you find, you read. Assassin's Creed, very, very big game, and sometimes you just get to the point where I'm just running around killing people. So I think the story...
that's kind of what I want at the moment, I think.
Yeah, it depends. Like this South of Midnight will be like
it's
a very...
$110 though.
Oof.
I don't know, I got Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah, and I did consider just getting Ubisoft Plus until I was sick of the game, but I may end up paying more than $110 by the end of it anyway, so I don't know.
That's why I haven't done it. It's because it's going to take me 2 years to finish it.
Yes, and they'll release another one in that time.
Ooh, what's next?
I don't know what's actually next for them. But now we should get back to Switch, because we did tease that quite a lot.
Well,
and then
speaking of the prices of games, we might as well come back to that first of all. So it's got the games look very nice. They look, more impressive. I've got to retract what I said about Metroid 4. The Switch version does look very similar to the Metroid Prime version, which makes sense because it's the same console. On the Switch 2, they showed video of that, and it was like, oh, this looks like what I was expecting.
Yeah,
looks pretty nice.
Much more crispy and looks nice. But the games are $80 US. So I don't even know what that means for Australians.
Well,
Like,
Let's work that out.
I'm sort of looking at the price of the games now, and it's sort of like a bit of a mixture. So it depends what sort of game you're talking about. Because some of them, they're sort of starting at $104 now. Here.
80 USD is 130 USD right now. Oh, sorry, 130
Australian.
AUD.
So 100 it could be $130 you pay
Like
for these games. That's
Cyberpunk
a lot,
Ultimate's
man.
going to be 114.
I mean, I
Really?
was just talking about not knowing if I wanted to pay 110 for Assassin's Creed, but I definitely don't want to pay 130 for Mario Kart.
Even though not even open world Mario Kart, which looks fucking great, it's gonna make me think twice about it because it's like it's so much money.
Mind you,
Or-
the good thing about the Switch, there's so many sales. I only ever browse
True.
the discounted Switch
Yeah, that's
library.
true.
Yeah,
There's always stuff that I want on sale.
yeah.
Yeah.
What you're better off
Come
doing
to think
is
of
just
it,
buying
I don't think
a
I've
micro
ever paid full
SD card.
price for a Switch game.
Buying a
Luke, I
what?
talked over
A
you.
micro SD card and then waiting for sales.
Yes.
And they're just stocking up.
Yeah.
But
So
then
that's
also, we're
been
looking at the price of buying
controversial.
them like brand new in the case, which none of us actually do that anymore.
No. Let's be the price digitally as well. But at launch though, you'll want them. That's the thing. Like Metroid
You
Prime
definitely
4,
need
I'm gonna want that.
But that's probably worth 100 and something bucks. Especially to you, man.
Probably.
You love Metroid, you know? So,
Yeah,
like,
that's
I don't
true.
know.
we've all got
I don't-
stuff we...
Oh,
I don't have time though. Like my time availability has gone down, and now the game prices are going up. So it's kind of like the math has changed a bit. You know, it's like
so now you
But
got to go
actually,
back
that
to what
works
it
well
was with a
because-
child.
You'll get back... Yeah, you'll get back to the only one, maybe 2 games a year.
oh, that's a good
Yes.
point. Yeah,
It'll take you that long to play them, and you can't afford more than that.
that's a good point. It's got a new button on it that brings up the chat friend interface, which looks really cool. Like it looks like you can it pops up this thing, and then you got your friends there, and they can be on video or just audio, kind of like I guess Xbox Live parties and or whatever. I'm sure
have they-
PlayStation is the same thing.
Have they fixed their online though?
Well, in what sense?
Like, because
They must have done something because
Yeah.
in order for you to have friends added, I mean, well, do you still have to use friend codes on the Switch? I actually haven't done it on the Switch at all. I don't think
I
I
haven't
have
done
any
it on
friends
Switch,
on
but I
there.
remember last time, like I remember people complaining that you had to like use your phone to have voice chat with people. So have they now
No, you
fixed
don't
it?
have to do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's all on the console. It's got
Yeah.
a mic in it. It's got a camera that you can set up. So
Okay.
it looks cool.
Yep.
And they've included gameplay based on the camera and stuff like that. I guess kind of like the Xbox one.
Kinect.
The Kinect. Yeah.
But I think it'll work
Is that-
better with Nintendo, especially with like their controllers as well. I think they can integrate that a lot more.
Oh yeah. They are mice. You can use the controllers as a mouse. Flip it on the
Okay.
side. That's cool.
Yeah.
GameCube games coming.
Yes.
In the retro console thing.
You
So-
could start Luigi's Mansion from the start again.
Yes, we played the first one finally. It's getting something that Luke's wanted for a long time. Looks like we're getting that first on Switch too.
This actually gives me a lot of hope though, because it finally
it shouldn't.
means. What do you mean it shouldn't?
Yes.
Well, unless you buy the Switch, it doesn't mean it's coming to Xbox.
Yeah, you can
Well,
hope
no,
that
no,
you can get a
this-
Switch too.
This finally
It's Final
means
Fantasy
that,
VII Remake. We haven't said what it is.
yes, Final Fantasy, which I've been dying to play, but I refuse to get a PlayStation for it because I'll never play it.
You know what we should
But
do?
Yeah.
it means that Sony
We should
may
buy
have
one
fin-
PlayStation and share it.
We already Matt
No, I
has
have
one.
one.
Because I
have
also
one.
well, okay, well then it's my turn, Matt.
I'll just mail
Can you
it to you.
please send it? Because I would like to play the fucking Silent Hill 2 remake that I can't play on my Xbox. Have you played
No,
that?
the-
Because if you've got
No.
a fucking PS5 and you haven't played that, what's wrong with you?
The reason why,
Until Luke reminded me that I had one, I forgot.
yes,
It's
and
in the
the same
lounge
thing
room.
will
I don't play
happen.
games in the lounge room anymore.
But no, the thing that excites me about this is it means that Sony don't have the exclusive rights anymore. So it means they might be
Sure.
backing off on that a little bit because that's the only reason it is Sony's just been giving them more money to keep it exclusive
Yeah.
because they're dicks.
Well, maybe they're like, well, Nintendo's not a threat, so we'll let them have it.
Just let Luke play it.
No, I think that is actually what they discussed. They're like, do we
Like,
want Luke to play this game? And they
Yeah.
were like, no.
like they're getting
Yeah.
up
And he
to
was
the
like, fuck that guy.
because remember
Tell
they've
them to
broken
buy
it
a
up into
Switch too.
bits. Like they're up to the third part of it, and they haven't even released the first one on Xbox. It's just mean.
Yeah.
And it was meant to be.
Ubisoft
They
Switch too?
said at launch they said exclusive for a year, but it's been a year.
Yeah, I think
right?
so.
No, I
It's
don't
been
think
more
that
than a year.
they never actually announced it at all.
Well, they didn't.
I think
They weren't
people
unofficial.
just said that.
Yeah, people said that, and also at the same time, which probably added fuel to fire, is remember Microsoft also accidentally let slip a promo thing when they had it
Oh, that's
on there?
right. Yeah, I think that upset them. Yeah.
Yes. And then they've just been stopping it ever since.
Well, that's a launch title.
Okay, so Luke,
Switch
you're
2.
saying, you're saying you won't get a Switch 2, despite that being one of your favorite games and being exclusive to this console.
The problem is I won't play it because I don't get achievements. And
I will
can't
play it.
I can't play
Will
games
you,
without
Matt? So
achievements.
you'll be pre-ordering one, will you?
Well, apparently not, because I live in the United States of America, and
You mean
our president,
the kingdom of America?
yeah,
And
and our president has decided that I'm not allowed to pre-order a Nintendo Switch 2 because he's
Because-
going to be.
They don't know how
it's
much
going to
to
be
charge
taxed.
you.
They don't know how much to charge for it because, we're tariffing everything, and a 40% tariff or something on Japan.
What?
So
What's Japan done to you?
if I, I mean, I'm obviously I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a political expert. As I understand it, the pitch for this is that these are reciprocal tariffs because apparently the rest of the world's ripping us off. So now we're. I don't.
Well, I mean, I've
I don't.
heard that
I
it's
don't
kind of.
get it, but
I've heard that tariffs are a good tool within a framework of crony capitalism to give people tariff exemptions if they do a little
Sure.
something for you, right? So Japan,
I'm not
40%,
sure what you're suggesting there, Dan.
unless you suck America off. Figure out a way to get Japan to suck America off.
Because
And maybe
I got an
we'll
email the other
overtake.
day from Steve Jackson Games, who you'll be familiar with, I assume, from Munchkin and such.
Oh yes,
I literally got an email from Steve Jackson Games saying, "Guys, heads up, we'll be increasing our prices if this happens."
Yeah,
and
we're
when
not
I
gonna be
say
able to
increasing our
afford
prices, a $20 game will be like $30, possibly $40
Yeah.
based on what we're seeing, because the things that we get made in China, in particular, China, we've got very big tariffs on. The dice, game pieces, printing, that kind of stuff. It can't be done in America. No one will do it. It makes no sense.
Oh, there's
And,
no infrastructure for it. You'd have to do them as like
Right.
individual. Yeah,
But that's what I'm even looking at.
and no
with,
one's
like,
not going to build the infrastructure
like,
for it. It's not
building
viable.
consoles and stuff, like with the Switch. It doesn't make financial sense for them to set up different ones in different countries to make
And-
it. It's
And it got me thinking, like, it does raise interesting questions about, like, well, why can China do it so cheap? For some not good reasons, really, to be honest, because of, forced labor and all that kind of stuff.
don't kid yourself that that's the reason, Matt.
What exactly? I'm not. Yeah, that's not. But it just got me thinking about it.
Yeah, Trump is a real altruist. He's really taxing
That's
these
right.
guys to make them accountable for.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's
But
the
the
thing.
point, the most important thing about all this is that Nintendo
You don't
pulled
get your
the
Switch.
pre-orders for the US
Yeah.
because they don't know how much to charge us for it now.
Yeah,
So it was going to be $500 with Mario Kart. Now,
500
who knows?
US. Okay, so what? Hold on, because my maths doesn't.
Same price
isn't
as my
transferable.
Xbox Series X.
oh wow. So because we can get for 700 we can get the console by itself.
Yeah, I think it's $450 here with just the console. So, which is actually what I paid for my Series X technically, because I did that thing through Walmart that for some reason was $50 less.
And what did you
Yeah.
say it was for us, Luke? 700?
$699, 700.
Yeah, okay.
Just the
All right,
console.
That's pretty comparable. It's pretty comparable.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I paid for my OLED Switch.
I remember I paid, I think it was 300 or 350.
This doesn't have
mine
OLED,
was
just
more
for the
than that.
record. This doesn't have OLED, which is interesting because it will have worse battery and less brightness, like like the nice blacks and whatnot.
Oh,
But
I
be
I
more
found
expensive.
I have found out how much it is for the Mario
blacks
Kart
are nice,
bundle. $7.69 for the console and the game.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, that is cheaper than buying it and then buying $130
Okay.
worth of Mario on its own.
Yes.
So
That's
if you're ever
But yeah,
going to
I-
get it, you better get the bundle. But that
So I'm
doesn't
not
give you like some
pre-ordering it
weird
yet.
skin or something, does it? It's not a Mario version of the.
No, I think it's just that.
And here's the annoying
Standard.
thing. This is one of the things that you need to pre-order. Like, you don't need to pre-order much in the gaming
Yeah.
world anymore, but a console is one of them.
I've expressed my interest in the pre-order, which is how they're doing it. But
Right.
now I just don't know when that's going to happen.
I know in Australia they're even putting EB Games is putting it behind a paywall, so you have to be an EB Plus member to even be able to pre-order it now
Really?
Right.
to try and
That's funny.
make more money.
Well, there's an article in here too, just about the tariffs and whatnot. It's going to affect. People are focusing on the Switch too, obviously, because it's the biggest thing that was instantly affected, and people noticed it. But the ESA has said the whole game industry will be affected by this because there's just so many bits and pieces that go into games. Like even games, like you guys would potentially be affected by this because games get developed
yeah.
here, and it's like
Change anywhere, the knock-on effect will affect everyone. Yeah.
so. Yeah, have to see what happens. Pretty nutso.
Yeah.
And like I said, the calculation for the tariffs is a little bit. It's like, why? Why is it that number? I don't know
Have
that
any
anybody
of the
actually
tariffs
knows why.
officially started, or is this all just talk still?
I think, well, so to be clear, there's a big list of specific tariffs, but like everybody is getting a 10%. Anything not manufactured.
Whoa.
And they even
That's what
see,
happens
they've shut
when
him
we talk
down.
about the government.
They've
Yeah.
shut him down.
All right. Well, we have an election coming up, Luke, but you and I, thankfully, are exempt from being bipartisan. We just support whatever government's in power.
Yep, don't talk about it at all.
Are you getting handed flyers in the streets? Because I can't walk down the street at the moment without getting handed a
Oh,
flyer.
we've had people knocking on our doors and stuff, but I'll just
yeah.
go vote next week and get it out of the way, and I'll be done.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow, Matt's really gone. Oh no, he's
No,
back.
he's back
we
now.
thought that the
They heard
FBI
me.
had shut you
Yep.
down. Yeah.
Yeah,
shut you
they
down.
heard me. Guess I'm doing a lot of damage just talking
So
about this thing that happened.
The annoying thing about I've seen,
Mr. Ham.
the annoying thing about the tariffs that I'm seeing is a lot of people don't actually understand them.
I don't
No, I
fully
know.
understand them.
I don't fully understand
I'll
more,
admit.
but I know it means things are going to cost more. And I've seen some people go,
okay.
It's a
I can explain.
deterrent,
It means-
right? More than
Well, so it actually technically only affects businesses in the US. What it means is if I want to buy something from overseas, I have to pay a tax. It's a tax, right? So, for example, I think is it 30 something percent on Japan? So if I want to buy a Switch 2, say I'm GameStop, I want to import a Switch 2, just one for some reason, and then Nintendo's like, for you that's $400.
Yep.
Well, now I've got to pay the $400, and then when it gets here, I've also got to pay the government 30% of $400.
yep.
That's literally how it works. And I think it's supposed to be incentivizing making stuff here.
Manufacturing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I'll buy the
they're not gonna
old
make a Switch
American
there.
handheld.
The Switch
game
2 will not be
instead.
made here. Yeah, we don't have the facilities to
But
do
I've
that.
seen some people
And
go.
it doesn't make sense to build them.
I've seen
if
some
it does,
businesses
you
now
still
like,
have to-
due to the tariffs, we're not going to be able to stock this anymore. And people have gone, oh, you should just charge the extra 25% and you'll be making lots of money. So like, no, we don't make any money.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you're not going to pay an
We'd
extra
have to
25%
increase it
for
to
this
the point
product.
where you were paying the tariff and
Yeah.
recompensating us for it.
There is some confusion about, because I know people, particularly at first, were like, well, China or Japan will be paying us a bunch of money. It's like, no.
No.
They're not paying anything. Yeah. They'll pay in that they'll have less customers here.
Supposedly.
That's how they'll pay in a sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's way more complicated than that. Anyway, nothing I can do about it.
Those Make America Great hats again.
Maybe this is
They're
a
going to
great
be more
idea.
expensive.
Maybe it's a great idea.
Maybe time
Who
will tell.
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. You hear that? It's a great idea. Okay? Let me finish the show.
Let you return from your trip to Mexico.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, I'm a citizen. I'm all good for now.
For now.
They're only stopping non-citizens from coming in.
Yeah, unless
They
you're a
haven't-
child
there's been a
and
couple
you
of
are a
high-profile
citizen, but
cases.
your parents weren't, and then in which case your citizenship is suddenly questionable.
Yeah. That has been floated from what I hear, but we'll see.
I don't like the world at the moment.
Again, nothing I can do about it.
Let's talk about something fun and exciting, and also that pisses me off at the same time.
Okay. I thought we were.
finally
But go on.
we finally get to see a movie.
Oh, yeah.
A movie?
That was. Remember, it was going to be a tax write-off, and we were calling
Yes.
bullshit on how this could be a tax write-off for a fully completed movie, ready to sell movie.
I
And
think the governor of California called bullshit on it as well.
yeah, I think a lot of people did. Like, how could you do all this and then just go, we can't sell it for as much as we want. We're still going to get our money back, but we're not going to make as much profit. So it's better
Throw
for
it in
us
the bin.
to throw it
Claim
in
it
the
on
bin.
tax.
I thought they actually did throw it in the bin.
They
Well,
did. It's Coyote
There's not a
versus
literal
Acme.
bin.
No, but they wrote it off, which means I think. Well, the story was that they had already written it off, which meant you can't go back on that.
Yeah,
'cause
you
you've got
can't
a tax
go do anything.
benefit out of it. But obviously that's not the case because Coyote versus Acme has been sold to someone who will be distributing it. Yeah, like a company. So we'll get to see it.
Yep. And I think I actually might go to the movies for this.
If we don't, then we've got no one to blame but ourselves,
Yes,
right?
that's right. Yeah, they'll be proven right if nobody goes to
Warner
see
Brothers bought it. Who did this start with?
it. Wait,
They would have they made it, didn't they?
I thought they made it and then they binned it.
Yeah. Ketchup Entertainment. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
they've Warner Brothers has reported completed the sale.
Right, yeah, okay.
So this goes hand in hand with, there was a couple of articles from weeks ago that they weren't super interesting, but combined with this, I guess it makes sense to just mention that HBO Max is owned by Warner Brothers, and they have removed all the Looney Tunes randomly from it. And this is another case of it's like, what does it cost you money to just have things on there for people to watch? Like, don't you want people to have things to watch on there?
Well, no, I think
don't
it's,
understand that.
I think it's they've maybe sold it along with this, maybe.
That could be, maybe. I hadn't heard that, but it
'Cause,
could be.
yeah,
But the other thing is they're bulldozing the building where they made all the Looney Tunes, and it's just
That's
like,
just
I mean,
sad.
I understand. Yeah, exactly. Maybe they need the land or whatever, but it's just as a combination of things. It's just like, why do you fucking hate Looney Tunes so much, Warner Brothers?
Especially when
They
they
made
invested,
you.
they made you. You've been investing money into them, then all of a sudden you've just gone, nah, dead
Fuck
toots.
it. Fuck you, Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. But yeah, we'll
funny
get to see
though-
Cody versus Acme.
Yeah, I do want to see this because actually, like, one of the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes were always there during our childhood
Well,
growing up.
here's the thing.
More than Disney, to be honest, in Australia, I would say. Looney Tunes
Yeah.
are way more than
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse.
Oh, like the Disney movies were prominent, but the Disney
Sure, but not the
properties,
cartoons,
like
like the-
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
What is that? What are they in?
I mean, we knew who Mickey Mouse was, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
There weren't
Yeah.
cartoons of Mickey Mouse on all
Like,
the
we
time.
didn't have the Mickey
Correct.
Mouse Club and stuff like that. Like, we didn't have that type of stuff.
But
So we
Looney
didn't-
Tunes was on every day.
every day.
Every fucking day. Yeah. And then Animaniacs, which is fucking great.
That's amazing.
Right.
But the thing about this, like, everyone who saw this movie said it's a great movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is why
Everybody.
And I actually
Everyone.
quite like. Is it Will Forte? That's
Will
that's
Forte
this guy, right?
and
yeah.
John Stenner.
Yeah. Your current favorite
Wiley
wrestler turned
Coyote,
actor.
is that his name? Wiley
Yeah.
Coyote, that actor? Yeah.
No, you think of Noah Wiley from
Oh, that's
ER.
right.
Yeah.
Noel Wiley from Parks of Silicon Valley.
Yes.
Oh, we've got some Top Gun news in the after party.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they did actually write it off or not. Because I
And yes, it
remember
is
that
him
they
in Pirates of
did.
Silicon Valley, isn't it? and
He plays,
Anthony Michael Hall as
That's right.
yeah.
Who's in the new season of Reacher?
That's a good movie. Oh, is he? Okay.
Mm.
He's funny because he was always the nerdy kid when he was a kid, and then he became a really big teenager, and so then he played the bully. You know, like
Sure.
very few people have made that transition.
Yeah, normally does not go that way.
Yeah, like if
I
you
think
watch,
that's
if you
in
watched,
Reacher.
if you watched National Lampoon's Vacation, and then you watched Edward Scissorhands straight after, it'd be like, fucking the nerdy kid from this is the bully from this.
Yeah. Yeah, it is him in Reacher. I don't know why I doubted myself. It is him in season 3 of Reacher.
Apparently, what's the actor in Reacher, Matt? I know you know.
Alan Richardson? The big
Apparently
guy?
he gets he gets more and more nude in each season. I've been told.
Does he?
Yeah,
He's in his undies a bit in season 3. The maid catches him in his undies.
apparently by
several
season
times.
3 they're just showing everything. They're just
Well,
like, yeah.
I mean,
Says
that's what
I
he's
wouldn't
there
even-
for, isn't it?
I wouldn't even own clothes if that's what my body looked like. I'd be like,
Yeah,
why am
I
I
was gonna say,
covering this up? I'd live
Why
somewhere
have we hired
warm.
this guy if we're not going to show him off?
Yeah, yeah.
What else have we got in here? Quite a bit this week,
Got a
actually.
lot.
Oh, movie stuff,
Well,
by the way.
yeah.
One thing this came out of nowhere, and I actually don't know. This is what the headline has said, and is this true? The new James Bond movie is filming in London right now. That took me by surprise. I've seen it said that it's in production, which doesn't necessarily mean filming, but this says filming, and we don't know who's playing Bond.
Yeah. Like that's a.
So
Because you really
Like, the
can't
headline
announce
is-
that first.
the new James Bond film has begun filming in London, all while the identity of Mr. Bond remains a tightly held secret. I mean,
Because I would have
we're
said,
going to know soon enough. If they're filming it, someone's
Sure.
going to say something.
but
You can't
also
keep it that
like
secret
I
for that long.
understand keeping the wraps on production, maybe even teasing that they aren't going to tell us who it is yet, but they haven't even announced that they picked someone that they are keeping
I
a
know.
secret.
It's someone,
they were making one.
it's someone controversive, and they don't want to announce it now because it's just going to be people shitting on them.
They are both in London, getting started, and couldn't be here tonight. I actually don't. I mean, I know this.
I
This
think it's not
literal
filming.
article says it's filming,
Yeah.
but
I think
I
it's
don't
not filming.
It is. I think
it's
people
pre-production.
are gathering, for pre-production.
Yeah, I think there's a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the headline literally says filming, and I was like, what?
They will,
Like, how did this not leak?
even if they don't tell us who it is, they'll still tell us that they picked someone. Surely,
Yeah, you would
can
think so.
stop speculating. We picked someone.
Yeah.
I'm trying also to stay very open-minded because if you recall, everyone hated Daniel Craig at that reveal. Everyone was like, "This guy, the guy from Layer Cake, the guy from fucking Tomb Raider," like, and then he fucking showed us. So
Yeah. So maybe a trans woman will be a good James Bond, Dan.
yeah, a trans woman of
That's
color.
that's what people are scared of apparently.
Well, I remember when No Time to Die came out, and everyone was like,
Oh, yeah.
007 is going to be played by a woman of color, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Fucking what?" And it's like, no, he gets fired. They assign that number to a different agent. Calm
Yeah.
the fuck down.
You just reminded me of something that I wanted to put in here, and I completely forgot. This is a sort of segue, right? Can we talk about Snow White?
Yes.
Yeah,
Go for
please, let's talk about
Okay.
it. Yeah.
There's a couple of things I wanted to mention about it. The main one, right, that I get so confused about because when I see people arguing about it, like, hang on a minute. What is the full title of the story of Snow White?
Snow White and the
Snow
Seven
White and the
Dwarfs.
Seven Dwarfs.
In that context, what is a dwarf?
What in the original
In
film?
the
they're
context
just-
of the story of Snow White.
yeah. Well, there's 7 small miners who
Uh-huh.
live.
Yeah, okay, let me be more specific.
But I mean,
then.
they're like
Does it
Tolkien
mean-
dwarfs.
Is it Snow White and the 7 humans
It's not
with
7.
dwarfism?
It's not 7 people with dwarfism. It's 7
People- a lot of people.
of the fantasy creature dwarf.
That corrects me if I'm wrong. the condition is named after, not the other way around? Or is it, that might not be true, but that's
I believe that's
what
true.
I thought.
But also, like, they work in a mind, just like Tolkien's dwarves. Like, it's literally, I'm surprised Tolkien didn't sue them. Like,
it's a fantasy creature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen these people arguing about this. People, woke, blah, blah, blah stuff. And some of it's silly, some of it's up. But the one that's most confusing to me is that these people seem to agree on the fact that it's 7 humans with dwarfism.
Right.
And I was like, that's not what it is. And then they're having this argument about how, like, there was someone annoyed, right? This annoyed somebody that in this movie, they're not any of those things. They're like just fantasy creatures. They don't say dwarf or anything like that. They're just different kinds of creatures.
Okay.
But then there's no Prince Charming.
Yeah.
It's this guy, Jonathan, because, kids these days don't do Prince, Princess, come and save me kind of thing. Like, fair enough, whatever. It's a modern film. Who cares?
Yeah.
But he's got a band of merry men, one of whom is a little guy, some actor from Game of Thrones.
Right.
Like, and that annoyed them because they were
put
like,
a dwarf in there.
exactly.
You know a dwarf. You know
There's
what a
one
dwarf
right there.
is.
He hasn't got 6 friends.
Ask him. Yeah.
So this is why you're not going to win with any of this stuff.
At one point, I was like, hang on a minute. Like,
people want to be upset. That's what they want to be.
Look, I'm not saying this is a good movie. This might be a shit movie, but it's not a shit movie for all the reasons.
At the end of the day, and because there's a whole bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, the plot of this movie is not the plot of the old movie. So it's kind of, I know before it came out, people were like, well, like, for example, like she's not white as snow. She's like a Latina, and then people were like, but then in this movie, it's not her skin color that is why she's called Snow White. It's because she's born during a blizzard, apparently. And it's like, okay, if you don't like that, fine. But like, that just means that the criticism you had is actually invalid.
Yes.
Yeah, but also, like, we actually watched the live-action Cinderella today, earlier today, right? It's a 2-hour-long movie based on like a 50-minute cartoon from the 50s, right? You have to put more information in. And audiences are more sophisticated now anyway. You can't just say, we're going to call this baby Snow White because she's white. And it's like, we're all white, mate.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just say that now.
Yeah.
You've got to come up with a reason.
The song, Someday My Prince Will Come, isn't in it, and he's not a prince, and he doesn't, and this, and it's like, but young girls these days don't give a shit about any of that. Like, that's not what like, it
you're
just makes no
upset
sense.
that they got rid of the rapey undertones of Snow White.
Yeah.
That's what you're upset about.
Right.
And they're fucking angry because everyone keeps saying, oh, Rachel Ziegler is talking down this movie, saying it's awful. No. All the clips of her saying bad things are about the one from the 30s. She's like, he kisses her while she's asleep. He doesn't know he's bringing her out of a curse. That's creepy, right?
Yes, because she didn't grow up kind of with that story, a kind of story.
Yeah, it's just normal.
She's a
when we
younger
grew up.
person.
She watched this
that stuff
because they
is
said,
weird to
you've been
kids.
cast, go and watch the old one. And she was like, yeah, I'm not going to do mine like that.
Because times have changed and those stories aren't relevant to kids anymore. Like we
watched that
form.
recently too. We the original. I mean, there only is that available on TV. And it's a weird movie because actually it's very disjointed. There's no context for who that evil queen is. I don't even think they say it's the stepmother or something. It's just they don't even show the outside of where she lives. She's just this evil character talking to a mirror, and someone is saying Snow White's beautiful, so she's like, fucking kill her then. Like, and then it just cuts to Snow White living with dwarves.
Yeah. Humans with dwarfism.
What I'm saying, where the hole for the mine is too small that they're like, we can only hire.
I hope I'm not being offensive by saying that. I actually don't know what the terminology is. I'm just trying to be clear about the distinction that I'm making.
I don't know for certain the chicken or the egg scenario, but I do know that in the film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, she doesn't go, what a coincidence, you're all suffering from dwarfism. She just knows that there's a... Like, it could be seven elves.
Because they were saying, in that movie, it's just they've been cast out. I'm pretty sure that's not the plot of that. I think...
No.
Yeah.
Cast out, they're minors.
Yeah,
They
got a job.
Yeah, but that's the only job they can get because. And I was like, no. I think you,
mate. There's diamonds
Yeah.
falling out of their pockets, mate. They
I
are
do not
fine.
think that is what the plot of the original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is.
And you know what? Even if there is, nobody thought that far ahead. Okay, right?
It's the Hobbit dwarves. It's not Game of Thrones dwarves.
Correct. Yeah.
And because then it got me thinking too. You know, people were mad about the other Snow White movie, the one where they cast like normal
the Huntsman
normal
one.
sized. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then shrank them down. And then
No.
that
It was
too,
the
like,
opposite. They hired dwarf actors and shot
And
them,
then
but then they
imposed.
put people's faces over those.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes more sense because I can. Okay, that is
That one's still like, if you're going to hire,
Yeah.
just
shouldn't have done that.
That's the one that Dinklage had a problem with.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because then it
'Cause
got
it
me
was like-
thinking: were people mad about The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, the Peter Jackson ones? Because
But again,
those are just
they're not
normal
people
actors.
with dwarfism.
That's
They're
exactly.
a race of
I know.
magical
I know.
beings.
I know. That's why I was so surprised that. But they were all agreeing.
Why didn't
on
you
this.
get real fucking trees to play the Ents? There's no
Yeah.
tree that could have played Treebeard.
Yeah. So yeah, Shape of Water. That should have been a real fish man. Doug Jones needs to be cancelled.
Yeah. Sorry, is fucking Ian McKellen a wizard? No? Okay, well, fucking cancelled.
Yeah, no, you can't win with the internet. They just like to be upset, no matter what you do. And this is the reason why I keep saying diversity needs to be a thing, because if the second you cast anyone and the internet's already complaining, that's a problem. Before they even know if they're a good actor or anything, they're already complaining.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem.
And to be clear, I've not seen this movie. I'm not going to see this movie.
Oh, no, it looks
I don't
awful.
care. And from what I hear, it is a bad movie. So
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting
But then
that
again,
it's not.
My
I'm just
sister
saying.
texted me. She doesn't know about any of this. She just knows there's a new movie out called Snow White. She's got two daughters. They went to see Snow White. She texted me straight after and goes, "You should go and see Snow White. It's really fun. My girls loved it." And I went, "Okay,
no.
cool." No,
Apparently not.
No, be angry about it.
There's no dwarves in it, Dan. No, it was
But
one.
here's the thing. I
No
don't
dwarf, and
like-
she's not white.
He doesn't play a dwarf. He's just
pretend he's a
happens to
normal
be
person.
small. But apparently those woodsmen or whatever they are, the band of merry men, there's 7 of them, and people are really confused by that as well.
I heard that too. I was like, that is a weird thing to do.
It is
Like,
odd, yeah.
what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
It all just seems so silly to me. But I was like, why do we care about any of this shit?
But here's the thing, though. People do press for movies. They've always done this, right? But now we're saturated with it. And I think it's too much. And I think this proves it because for all I know, Rachel Ziegler is a lovely girl. She's 20 fucking years old, mate. Like, what do you expect her to say? But
yeah.
but I don't like it. Like, when I see her, I'm like, oh, yeah, she seems a bit fucking crazy and in your
Yeah,
face.
but
And
is that because you've of her or of what?
Well, but that's right. But the same thing happened with Star Wars Acolyte, where they put a whole bunch of 20-year-olds on TV every fucking day. The same thing happened with Wicked before it came out, where they just put those people on TV every day, asking them questions and questions and questions until they said something stupid, and then that's all you heard about for a week, right? And then I went to see Wicked thinking, fuck, man, have they really made this whole movie about the black experience? They didn't. It's a Wicked Witch, right? You know what I mean? Like, settle the fuck down, people. I think we're giving these people too much screen time now, away from the actual movie. Let's just cut
Black
that shit
people?
and watch the movie.
Dan, cancelled.
Yeah, Dan, cancelled. I'll say this: it took me a minute playing Avowed. In Australia, there are no bears. You know, there's the koala bear. That's not a
I
bear,
think you'll find
right?
there are bears.
Are there bears?
Yes,
The
there are
here in
bears.
Australia?
Yes.
What bears?
There are gay
Drop
men in
bears.
Australia.
Fair enough. But there's bears in Avowed, and I was attacked by a young black bear. And at first I was like, oh, no need to say the race of the bear.
Oh, no,
and
no,
I was like,
it's a
black bear is
black
a
bear.
thing.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah, there's a black bear and a brown bear.
Right.
And a koala
grizzly
bear.
Or are they
Koala
all
bears.
grizzly bears?
They wander around near my house. I think I seen that's someone's doorbell camera footage when there was a bear
Was it a black
on the
bear?
street behind me. Yeah,
Now, is it the
and
black
it's the ones
bear
in Vermont too.
The black
The ones
bear,
in
do you
Vermont.
run from that one,
Just to be
or
clear,
do
are
you
black
pretend
bears the
you're
only
dead?
ones that break into people's houses? Because that would be just a terrible coincidence, wouldn't it? For the-
I mean, I think they're just looking for food, mate.
But I know
They'll go
there's a
wherever the
difference
food is.
between
bears.
the black and the brown bear. One you're meant to run from, and the other you're meant to get big and try and threaten. The other you're meant to cower
it's
from. I
Black,
always get them
fight back.
confused.
If it's brown,
Lay down.
Shoot it down.
lay down. Yeah, something like that. Or is that poop?
But again, we're just talking about bears, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's white, all right. Yeah.
No, polar bears are
No,
vicious.
if it comes to bears,
I was in the
Jesus
Arctic,
Christ, no.
and
Yeah.
there was a stuffed polar bear in the lobby of the hotel. It's 3 meters tall, and I'm like,
No, don't even go near that one.
Yeah.
That's right. It was fucking terrifying.
Even the stuffed ones will
I
fucking rip
saw
your
one
house.
from far enough away that it was about the size of a grain of rice on the horizon, and they're like,
Oh yeah,
we need to go.
it's rapidly getting larger.
Yeah. If it's the size of a grape, you're already dead. Mate, we got a lot for the after party. We got a lot.
Oh, we do.
We do.
What is the
What's
after party?
The
Dan?
after party is. Why'd you say it like somehow it's my fault that there's an
Well,
after
no,
party?
I said, well,
the
both
after
me and
party?
Matt spoke over each other. What's the
Oh.
after party? So it becomes you have to explain it.
Oh, okay, sure.
What's the after party, Dan?
What's the always going on about the after party.
Fine.
Okay, well, the after party is a little personal project of mine that I've roped Luke and Matt into participating in against their own better judgment, where I and occasionally them, I suppose, continue talking
Yeah,
after
we'll be
this
there.
podcast. Yeah. It will cost you though. It will cost you a subscription on
Me?
Patreon. Yeah.
Oh, it costs me.
Oh, it'll cost you, mate.
It costs
You'll
Luke
pay.
more than it costs me. Let's
You
be
will
fair.
pay. Yeah, that is true. Head over to patreon.com/multiplenerdgasm or multiplenerdgasm.com and just follow the links. Sign up for $5 a month and you can get the other half of this show. There are other tiers, but that's the one that gets you in. That's the key to the door of the after party.
To the after party.
And then there's a tier where you just ask Luke to do stuff and give him money.
And he won't do it. He
Hang on a
won't
minute.
follow through.
Hang on a minute. He's like, no, I always said that it was just give me money. I never promised anything.
Yeah.
You just ask Luke stuff. That's what it is now.
Yeah, that's what we turned it into.
Before
No,
we just
I'm
do
going to
go over
commit
there,
to things. I've committed to a game of chess.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
I've committed
As a
to.
follow through, just a commitment.
I commit
He's
to
like
things.
when Amber Heard says that she has pledged many millions of dollars to charities.
To be clear, Nate did not ask you to play chess.
No, I'm still working out what
And
to
it's
do for
Nate that
Nate.
gave us
Nate's
the
got
money.
something really good coming.
Nate come in
Okay,
first.
all right, good.
too.
So,
So, I mean,
good.
if it's a
Thank you for
first in,
clarifying.
first serves, we need to take care of Nate, right?
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
Wink. We need to take care
the
of
second
Nate.
I see Nate,
No,
he's going to
Nate,
be
he
very
has
well
made it
taken
very
care
clear
of.
he does not want to get sucked off
Ah,
by Luke. I don't.
Hang on.
I'm
Let me
not
cro-
speaking generally.
we have to reschedule all of this.
Yeah,
While Japan's sucking America off, we're creating our own little.
Yeah. I put a tariff on the Patreon.
Yeah.
will there be one on the Patreon?
I guess we'll have to.
Yeah,
No,
They're overseas.
Patreon's an American company, isn't it?
yeah, but money coming in from overseas.
It's not a good. It's not good.
We're not
It's
good.
It's not good.
It's garbage, mate. See you there.
Tax exempt.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.